Okay folks, want to do a quick garden update. We've had fresh salad literally every night for a week now, so garden's in full production. It's now about mid-July. The radishes are pretty much done. I've got a couple of them still in here, but I've pulled out the radishes and I got a ton in the refrigerator. What I've done is I've planted 2 more rows of lettuce and where the radishes were. Onions are doing well. Had our first onion the other night. It was kind of small, but I just pulled one out for the fun of it. But they're still doing pretty well. I did them from onion sets, and not all of them came up, but we got a few here, so I'm happy with that. Iceberg lettuce is cranking, and what I've been doing with my 2 lettuce patches, I have the iceberg over here, and then I've got Tom Thumb over on the other side. Is I've been thinning them out, and that's what we've been using for our salads. Is the smaller ones that I've been thinning out, but it's doing really well. Now, last time I told you I was just about to give up on the carrots, and lo and behold, one day I came out here and bam, there they were. They were just like little wisps, and then they started growing. So, lesson learned on the carrots is patience, grasshopper. Apparently they are coming. So the carrots appear to be doing fine now. I just need to be more patient with them. And of course, here's my lavender. I recently did a video on this. It's wonderful with all the bees that's in here. This is one of the older raised gardens, so I have to repair it still. As you can see, that the wood's all rotten. But I mean, the plant's doing fine, so it's not really an emergency. But I'll be repairing this. And also, one of my subscribers suggested that I divide this. I take a piece of it and put it on the other side of the gardens, which is a great idea. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start a little lavender patch on the other side of the gardens so that I get some of this bee action over there. Asparagus, this is another one of the perennial gardens. I have to repair the actual garden, but I'm just letting it go to seed. We got asparagus earlier in the season. It was wonderful. And so I'm just letting that go at this point. Okay, tomatoes. Got lots and lots of green tomatoes on the vines, so we're going to have a very, very productive tomato season, I believe. Unless, of course, I get a chipmunk apocalypse over here, but we've got lots and lots of green tomatoes. Okay, then over here we've got our peas, and they're doing very, very well. We've had peas in our salad the last couple nights, so they're starting to ripen, and I've been harvesting them. Peas are doing very well. So peas I started from seed outside. Tomatoes started in the inside greenhouses. Okay, now here's the big pitch over here. I've got a couple gardens of eggplants, but here's one of them. You can see we got a bee over there on the flowers. So it appears I got a couple of eggplants started. That's exciting. Behind them I have sunflowers, and the sunflowers are really getting high. But they're on the opposite side from the sun, so they won't shade them. We've gotten a lot of cucumbers so far. We're in full production on the cucumbers. You can see we've got some cucumbers there, just about ready. Okay. And let's go over to our blueberries. Isn't that nice? Lots of blueberries. I bought some netting yesterday. I'm going to try to put on later today because, once these things start turning, the birds are going to go nuts. And so I would like to get some. I want to try canning some blueberries this year if I can. But here's our blueberries. And this is, another one of the perennial gardens that I need to fix. This one's actually not in bad shape, but the plants themselves are well established. These blueberries have been here for a long time. Okay, then our second tomato patch. Here, another 4 tomato plants. Started from seed inside, and they're doing very, very well. A lot of green tomatoes. And over here, we've got cantaloupe, and I'm training it up to trestle. Just saw today while I was weeding. Let's see if I can find it. Look at that. So we've got cantaloupe. There's a couple of them like that, but so they're started. Now they start, that particular one's on the ground, so I'm gonna have to get it off the ground and put it on something. What I'm hoping is that some of these that are going up the trestle will start to produce cantaloupes on the trestle, so they'll be off the ground. All a big experiment. Okay, look at these peppers. Phenomenal. Now these are sweet peppers. Let's see if I can get a... So it should be turning red at some point. So these are red peppers. And, again, heirloom plants. I started these inside. They're doing very well. The oregano is just going crazy. That I transplanted. It was growing wild in the yard. And I don't know if you remember from the first video, I had planted 2 or 3 little sprigs of mint. And look what happened. So if you'll recall, I believe my exact words were, I'm probably going to regret this, but... So subscribers, if you ever hear me say, I'm probably going to regret this, but please stop me. At any rate, I love mint, and it's fun to grow. It is a weed, and as you can see, it's looking to take over. It's gotten huge, but it's exciting nonetheless. That mint's doing really well. Got my chives. We've been having fresh chives in our salads. Put another sunflower over here, just because I like sunflowers. They're kind of cool. And here's some basil. I'm going to have to thin this out a little bit. This basil is doing really, really well. But you can transplant these basil plants. So I've already got some in various places in the garden. So I'm going to transplant a few more of these out of here to give them some room. But the basil's doing really, really well. And we've had a lot of fresh basil this year so far. Just a few errant peppers and eggplants that I just put here in some pots I had. Because I only was able to do 2, 4, 6, 8. Finish 8 of my annual raised gardens. We started out here, there were 18 raised gardens, most of them kind of in disrepair. So I fixed 8 of them for my annuals, and then plus a 9th one for the corn, which I'll show you in a minute. And then the other ones, the ones with the perennials, I really didn't touch. Last night we had summer squash, zucchini, just fried in a little olive oil, a little bit of cheese on it. Oh, it's wonderful. Looks like we're going to have a really good zucchini year just from the 2 plants. Now this is 2 zucchini plants. That's it. I told you they get huge. So I was actually kind of afraid about putting in 2, but and one of them's kind of a double, so that might have been 2 plants in the pot. But basically, I just put 2 of my pots that I started indoors out here, and it's taken over this half of the garden. We've already had zucchini. We got more on the vine coming. It's just absolutely wonderful. Look at that. I'd find the zoom eventually if I kept pressing buttons. Okay, then over here we've got our bush beans, green beans. We've had these in the salad every night. They're in full production right now. As you can see, we've got beans everywhere. And with these beans, you've got to pick them because if they get too big, then the plant thinks it's done for the year and it'll stop producing them. So actually, after I do this video, I got to go and pick some more beans so that the plant will keep producing. All right, just over here quickly. This is another one of the perennial gardens, strawberries. Thought they were done for the year, and then last night had a couple more strawberries. So they had one last little burst come out, and so we had a few strawberries, and there's a few more green ones still on there. So thought they were done, but they weren't. By the way, all these weeds over here, most of it is mint. I told you it grows wild over here, so it's pretty crazy. Okay, now this is the Tom Thumb lettuce. So I've been thinning this out as well as the iceberg, and we've been having it in our salad. It's absolutely a wonderful, nice tender lettuce, nice sweet taste. More eggplants. I don't know if you can tell, but I do like eggplants. So, and they seem to really be thriving. I started these eggplants inside. They were slow to germinate. If you recall from previous videos, I was a little bit frustrated and actually started a second batch because I thought that they weren't working, and then they did. So I've got plenty of eggplants. I've got them in pots. I've got them in 2 raised gardens, so we'll see what I get this year. Over here, we have blackberries, and this is another, or not, I'm sorry, raspberries. This is another one of my perennials that I've got to actually fix the garden. You know, I want to weed this out, and I think I got to put these up on trestles. When I got here, it looks like they had attempted to put in a trestle, and they had attempted to kind of support the plants with some wire and stakes. So this is one of the ones that I'm going to get to soon and try to support these plants up. So we did have some raspberries this year. They're still coming. We've also got a lot of wild raspberries out in the wood line. So like next to my composter there, I've got raspberries. And I don't know if you really see this, but I have a lot of wild raspberries over by the wood line. So this will be one of the next gardens that I try to fix up and support these plants. But it's been doing pretty well. This is a raised garden of weeds. I didn't do anything with this one. I'm not quite sure what it was at one time, but it's going to get ripped out, and actually what we're going to have here, this is going to be a patio. So I'm going to be leveling this out. It's on a slope. I'm going to be putting in some retaining wall blocks, leveling it out, putting a nice little patio with a sitting area, chairs and our little fire pit or chimney. A lot of nice flowers and herbs over here. I'll transplant what I can. And then over here, here's our cornfield. I did a video where I've mulched this with hay, and that seems to be working out really well. It has kept the weeds down. I got to do a little bit more mulching, where some weeds are popping up, but it really has done a good job. Got some more peas over on that corner. I don't know how that's going to work out. We'll see. It all depends on whether the peas get up the trestle before the corn gets too tall and shades them, so it's kind of a mad race at this point. But the corn's doing really well. I got some of them are, well over 2 feet now. Most of them look like they're, about 18 inches to 2 feet. So it went in a little bit late. Maybe it'll be around August or, late August, early September. But should get some corn. And over here I've got grapes. This whole fence is a very, very well established thick grape plant, and lots of grapes on the vine, starting out, so still green, but as you can see, this grape plant's been around for a long time. Look at that corn. So anyway, that is just a quick garden update in July. Thank you very much for watching. Hey folks, just make sure you get your proper weeding technique down, because weeding is very important. Coffee cup in the right hand, weed bucket in front of you, weed with the left. For those of you who are right-handed, just reverse the process and you have to go counterclockwise around the garden.